Hello, this is Richie Rich, sir. Formerly, but you can call me Danny. Hello, I'm trying to film a YouTube video while sick, without a camera, without a light, without a microphone. My light is right here is my iPad screen. Nothing on it, just a video star. CC. I usually post edits on TikTok, but I was like, why don't I make a YouTube video? And what better thing to make a YouTube video about than one of my favorite fandoms, It. Now, I'm new gen. Oh my god, I'm gonna be sniffling this whole video, I'm so sorry. I'm a new gen, but my credentials are...
I've read the book. It's a very impressive feat. You must say it to me 5 months. I watched it 2017 11 times. It had to do 5 times, and I cry every single watch. And I watched it 1991 twice, because it's like, I don't know how some people watch it more than that. It's really hard to do that shit.
I don't even know where to start. A lot of stuff I'm gonna have to cut out, because I live with my family, of course. And I have a really annoying cat. Oh my god, you might have to listen to her purr the whole time now. I don't know how audible that is. Shoot. Anyway, the It book. Most people from this book know about the sewer scene. You know, where Beverly is passed around like a joint at a frat party. Dream blunt rotation, except you're not smoking blunts, you're doing your underage friend.
You need to leave!
You would be shocked to know that is not the only scene in this book where there are sexual things said to or involving children. One of the first things when I was reading this that caught me off guard and was disgusting to me. Early in the book, where we're getting the kids' flashbacks, we visit Eddie, who is being... Okay, let's preface this. In 2017, we get the scene where Eddie is interacting with the leper. The leper's like, it's time to take your pills, Eddie, or whatever the hell he says, and chases Eddie around Nebel, and, you know, he's all scared and stuff. Wouldn't you love to know what the leper says to Eddie in the original, in the book? He says to Eddie hunched his way backwards. He could hardly breathe. His heart was a runaway engine in his chest. The leper appeared to be wearing the ragged remains of some strange silvery soup. Things were crawling in the straggles. Very specific. Here we go. He says, how about a blowjob, Eddie?
I mean, what the
You heard that right. How about a blowjob, Eddie? Bobby does it for a dime. He will do it anytime. 15 cents for overtime. Eddie was clearly very concerned by this. He didn't like it. He was like, okay, what he says in response to this leper is like, ew, oh my god, and runs. He's like, I don't have a quarter. You're supposed to say, Eddie, the line was no. I'm gonna be like Ziggy Katz with the alarm outside his door except I'm not gooning to a poem. I should use as the old pride flag that doesn't apply to me anymore. I should use that as a tissue. I have a bunch of notes that I didn't bookmark because I was too lazy to find them again, because this is a rather long book, 1,000-something pages. There's plenty of other weird sexual things towards children, and I suppose I will discuss the sewer scene at some point, which I also didn't care to bookmark. For reasons that maybe are obvious, Henry and Patrick.
What the?
Let's just say this is probably another thing that I'm sure plenty of people in the It fandom already know of. There's a particular scene in a particular junkyard where, let's just say, Henry and Patrick were doing some things to their junks. By which I mean, they were started off oh so innocent, because Henry Bowers is the most innocent kid we know. Henry Bowers, I need to discuss him later. But it started off oh so innocent. Henry and a couple other boys they had a lighter and they were lighting up their farts. As one does. And I guess they hinted at that in the movie where he was like, I'm gonna light his hair like Michael Jackson. Or whatever. I hope you can hear me. The other boys left and it was just Bowers and Hochstetter, and Hochstetter's like, they don't have pants on. Or underwear. Patrick's like, you wanna, this is paraphrasing, I don't wanna read this out loud. He offered to, like, you wanna see something cool? It feels real good. And grabs his ween, and mind you, Beverly's there. Oh, I didn't even mention Beverly's there. She's hiding behind a car and is so intrigued that she stays around and watches this unfold out of morbid curiosity of sorts. Patrick is massaging his doodle and then is like, no, this is a direct quote. He's like, I put it in my mouth if you want me to. Actually, I don't know if that's a direct quote. And then Henry's like, oh no, that's so gay of you, and starts calling him slurs and tells him to go away, and then gets pissed and punches him or whatever. Reasonably so, I guess. I will also discuss Patrick Hochstetter probably more, because in this book, boy oh boy, to the people who are like, Patrick Hochstetter is my favorite It character, you might have a couple screws loose.
Sometimes I regret the day I put this ring on.
I've been doing that all day. That's another example of Stephen King writing oddly sexual things about.
Well, the losers are graduating elementary school. They're 10 or 11. No, it's not a Stranger Things reference, I wish it was. And Henry Bowers was held back, so he's gotta be 11 or 12, maybe. Doesn't make it any better, easy. I don't know what I'm saying.
Okay, let's discuss the sewer scene. Maybe. Because that's like the main thing. People think of like, oh, the book. Oh, guys, you know what's in the book? It's towards the end, after the kids beat Pennywise for the first time. They're in the sewers. Again, I'm paraphrasing a lot of this because, as I stated, I didn't bookmark it. Beverly essentially is like, you know what would all bring us together more? If I did all of you right now in the sewers. I mean, ladies, what better way to lose your V card, right? I must point out, I'm not a fan of how in-depth Mr. King went into this. I didn't need to read that, actually. I would have been okay if I hadn't read that. Might I add, none of the boys wanted to do that. Like, she, like, dead peer pressured all of them into doing that. Like, they were all like, dude, we don't want to do this. We don't want to hurt you. Like, they're like 10 years old. They don't know what she's even asking them to do. I don't think she 100% understands what she's asking them to do. It's her dad who's like, take your pants off. He's almost worse in the movie, actually. In the movies. Not that he's okay in the book. Also, Oh, there's so much I want to talk about. Like, okay, guys, wait, let me make a note. I need to talk about their future, the losers' future partners. Okay, yeah, the sewer scene.
Eddie goes first with his broken arm. And he's like, he like sacrificed himself. I'll go first, guys. I'll take one for the team. And mind you, Eddie's crying. He's crying tears. He's bitter on it with his friend. He doesn't know I want to be doing this. Arguably, he didn't seem to the girls in general. I don't know who goes next, but they all take turns. Oh my god, he is so gross.
Mr. King. Mr. King, I have a note for you. When you have characters who are prepubescent, you should not be writing anything about them interacting with their privates, with their own privates, with each other's privates. Those words should not be on paper or in your head at all, actually. And I'd like to take a step back and return to the topic of Patrick Hockstetter.
I mean, what the can I live?
Now, to any Ready fans, some of you may be familiar with the fanfic mixtape. Oh Lord have mercy. If you've read all of mixtape, I salute you and I'm sorry. Water Tower mentioned.
Mama, I like girls.
Anyway, some of you maybe were like, where did the idea of Patrick putting Eddie Kaspbrak in a fridge come from? For 3 days. Locking him in a fridge for 3 days in the junkyard. Some of you may be like, oh my god, that's so random. You'd be stunned. No, you wouldn't. It's not surprising, really. The junkyard, he claimed his own little fridge and would just stick animals
You think you're doing?
in the fridge and visit them like once every few days, you know, check in. Whew, how quick is this dog decaying? Very descriptive depictions of a dying animal. And not to mention Mr. Hockstetter, he isn't only violent towards animals, which I guess we know if you've seen anything with Patrick Hockstetter. He's also a little violent towards the Losers Club, you know. On top of that, he wasn't too fond of having a baby brother. A little jealous, a little toys in the attic. He was a little slow. He's got a baby brother. He's jealous of the baby brother, you know, normal oldest child, middle child things. How does he go about his emotions? He goes into his baby brother, Avery. He goes into the baby's room, walks in there. I was gonna find an example of something to represent the baby. It's like, and then goes downstairs and eats cookies. And I think his parents knew and they just didn't care. They're like, well, what are we supposed to do? Anyway, let's move. You know what? I'll briefly discuss Henry Bowers. Specifically, I mean, I guess there isn't so much different from the movies, but the racism Stephen King writes, a lot of it was just unnecessary. Like, I know some of it is to represent the time period and like, oh my god, there's so much racism, like crazy stuff. The N-word was a little overused. I feel like it didn't need to be. Honestly, I should have bookmarked it and counted how many times Henry Bowers and his father said the N-word over this one page, because it was at least 20. Like, every other word spitfiring the N-word. Hard R. They have this in the 1990 movie, but in the book, they didn't have Mike helping fight them because Henry stabbed him. Didn't kill him, no. But hospitalized him, and he quite literally was not there. Mike locked in and didn't die. Henry Bowers comes back. Oh my god, he does try and kill Eddie in this. He comes to his hotel room. They're adults at this point. Okay, side note. Pennywise doesn't break Eddie's arm. Henry does. I mean, not really that surprising. But then as an adult, while Bill and Bev are getting hot and heavy up in one of their hotel rooms, Henry takes a little trip to Eddie's room and is like, I've got a knife and I want to shove it in your neck. Oh my god, the only part I love about the 1990 It is how adorable Mr. Eddie Kaspbrak is. If this makes it to the final cut, please put a picture here, like all the editors do.
Oh my god, I was reading this and I was stressed because I know he doesn't die, obviously, in the scene. I was stressed. Don't hurt him! Don't hurt him! Eddie kills Henry. Eddie's the one who kills Henry.
I don't even know what they do with him, but they kind of just leave him in the hotel room. Oh, Henry had lost the plot. He had lost the plot long ago. Also, as adults, I'm trying to make the transitions between topics as smooth as possible. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a script. I didn't plan any of this in advance. Besides my notes. We need to talk about how insane some of these relationships are for the losers as adults. One we don't see much of that I think was really interesting that they didn't include in the movie was Beverly's husband. They included him very briefly at chapter 2 when they get the calls, right? You don't quite see just the insanity of Tom Logan. The concept of Tom Logan. When I tell you he abused Beverly, I mean he abused with a capital A. Constantly hit her emotionally, just abuse her. Beverly leaves, she rocks his shit. We get some snaps from the class. He's not happy about it, and he follows her to Derry.
Goes to the friend's house, is harassing her, lies to get inside her house, and nearly kills this woman. Like, beats her, and the only reason she fesses up where Beverly went is because he was like, she broke a vase in her house and was like threatening to cut her face off. And that's why she fessed up. She was like, my face?
This is what I thought was really interesting. Tom sort of takes over the role of Henry after Eddie slimes him. He takes over that role. Yeah, this man's crazy. Crazy, off many perks. And he also really coerced Beverly into sex, like, a lot. Like, guilt tripped her, like, you're so sorry for doing nothing wrong. Prove it. And we know Beverly has no problem with, sorry, this is shade, but we all know she doesn't have a problem with giving up her body to men. Speaking of wives, Eddie's wife. In the 1990, I don't think we see his wife. I think he's still living with his mother,
Which I think is honestly very reasonable route to take when depicting this, because his mother is really scary in the 2017, like, petrifying, like, scarier than her husband. In the book, she's honestly more tame. She's definitely more racist, or just, I don't know,
She's still very manipulative. She's way less scary in the book. I am not a fan of the heavy parallels between their partners and their parents for the losers. Gross. Like, his wife is this fat lady who's like, she's very clingy. She's very, I guess that's the best word, clingy. Like, she's blowing up Eddie's phone, okay? Honestly, when you're reading this, you're like, why is Eddie with this woman? He doesn't like her. He's got a thing for fat people, I think. Oh my god, the way Stephen King writes about overweight people. Because it's so mean that it's kind of hilarious. Okay, here's one. This is him introducing his wife. An extremely large woman was climbing slowly to the second floor. Eddie could hear the stairs creak protestingly under her. Eddie, that's your wife. Chill out with the fat shaming. With your mother, I hate your mother so much, Eddie. Call her whatever you want. His wife's just weird. His wife's just odd. Very odd. Very odd. A lot that goes on with Eddie in this book. is very interesting. Oh my god. Okay. I'm hoping we got some Ready shippers watching this. You know, ball. From the way people talked about this book, I thought there'd be more of it. Not that there wasn't. Like, oh my god. They don't really go into the whole Ed's nickname thing into the movie, which I think is very disappointing because I feel like it
was a pivotal thing in their like relationship, but like their whole little joke, "Don't call me Eds." I feel like because only Richie called him Eds, but I faintly recall in the movie a couple of them calling him Eds, which now if we were talking about the cast brack from this book, he would not let that fly. Not let that fly.
In fact, you want to guess what his dying words were in this book? Well, I have it bookmarked just for you. Oh my god, it was making me upset. In the movies, he kind of gets stabbed. You couldn't really tell what was going on in the 1991, but he kind of just like falls, angles probably got snapped, and he dies really dramatically, but it's like, I don't know what even happened. I mean, obviously in chapter 2, it's pretty apparent why he dies. He gets that kind of emotion did not look right. His final words that were like distinguished in that movie were like, "I fucked your mom." In this book, Eddie gets his arm ripped off and bleeds out, and that's how he dies. But he's like tweaking, and Richie keeps calling him Eds, and he's like, in quotes, "Eds, oh my god, Bill, Ben, someone, he's lost his arm, and then Eddie's like fading in and out of consciousness. But I'd like to include that, then he looked at Richie and licked his lips. I know what you are. I know what you are. What you were. I'll just quote, "Richie," he whispered. "What?" Richie was down on his hands and knees, staring at him desperately. "Don't call me Eds," he said and smiled. He raised his left hand slowly and touched Richie's cheek. Richie was crying. Post-it notes in the way. "You know, Eddie closed his eyes thinking how to finish, and while he was thinking it over, he died." Really blunt way to write that, actually. Richie turned to Bill towards him, looked at him as you would look at a man, oh my god, a man who is hopelessly raving. "Bill, we have to take care of Eddie. We have to get a tourniquet on him. We get him out of here." Richie, and then they go off and Bill and Richie carry this shit. They go off and beat Pennywise like on their own. And oh my god, there's so much yapping in this book, really. As they're finally about to leave Nebel, and they leave Eddie behind for some reason, but they take Bill's wife Audra with. Who gives a shit about Audra? I'm sorry. And as they're about to leave, what does Richie do? He kisses his cheek. And as if that isn't sad enough, something I never knew about, like I never saw anyone talk about, was the fact that even after they beat Pennywise a second time, they start forgetting again. Forgetting each other, forgetting Derry. Richie forgets Eddie again. Like Mike calls them later, and he, like an example, he was asking them like, "Do you remember Stan's last name? Do you remember Eddie's last name?" And none of them got it right, including Richie. He's like, "Loki forgot about that guy. Are we serious?" So that really upset me when I was reading. That really upset me. The ending was better than one of Bill's books, I guess. Do you have any other points? Oh, I was talking about Ready. Gotta get me back on focus. Because again, there was very brief stuff. I talked about the "Don't Call Me Eds," the touchiness towards the end there. I don't remember if this was in the book, but then 1990, where Richie was like giving Eddie a nugget, was like, "I love this man, I love this man." Frequently, Richie would call Eddie cute.
There's water for everyone, so we have to shower together. It's just something that happens.
You're not even trying to hide it, Richie. Like, we all know your secret, your dirty little secret. And Richie was helping Eddie walk, had like the arm around the waist, you know what I mean? What's going on here? The one thing, don't have it bookmarked, I wish I did. I thought this was funny and it caught me way off guard. I'm reading, and Stanley and Richie are with each other, and they're walking over to meet Eddie, and Eddie, like, abruptly, as he's going up to him, he's like, hey, Richie, can I... Paraphrasing. Hey, Richie, can I get a look on your rocket? His what?
Why are you sadist?
What did you just say? You want to... Personally, I think it would have been a little helpful if Stephen King clarified that Richie was holding ice cream. I'm assuming that's what he was holding. I'm assuming. He didn't really specify that or make it, like, blatantly clear. That got me way off guard when I was reading, because you need to put a lot of context clues in. I was like... But it was wholesome, because Richie was like, oh, what about all the germs, huh? What about all the germs? And Eddie was like, F the germs. And then they shared an ice cream. I guess there was a lot of hinting towards stuff in the movie that I guess requires some hindsight after reading. Like them sharing, not sharing ice cream, but Eddie getting Richie ice cream in the movie. You know, I don't really think I have any more notes, guys. We covered a lot of bases. We briefly covered the racism. I think a main thing is the weird sexual stuff. In some ways, the book was way more extreme than the movie, and then in other ways, the movies are way more extreme than the book.
For example, when they're in the restaurant, and there's all the weird stuff with the fortune cookies, in the book they like sit there and it just manifests and all the weird stuff goes away. What do they do in chapter 2? Get up, they're screaming, the shit's everywhere, and Mike picks up a chair, so real, it's not real, and absolutely demolishes a table. Interesting, this is the one who's insisting that, no, it's real. Kind of treating it like it's real, no?
Really disappointed, actually, with the execution for how they fully beat Pennywise, because, like, what is this bullshit where they're just yelling insults at the Eater of Worlds? Mommy, mimic, clown, and then he's like, Pennywise like, no, I know I've killed so many kids, and I'm the Eater of Worlds, and I've been around since the dawn of time, but how could you call me a clown when that's the form I take most of the time? There's another way to make him small. Small like your husband's dick, Beverly. From what I hear, the list is longer than my leg.
Because in the book, they're like, it's like, I swear it's always just Bill and Richie carrying, like, beating up Pennywise. Richie's like biting or holding on to Pennywise's tongue. Or they don't call him Pennywise, by the way. I saw a video where someone was like, when they're name dropping the movie so much during It, do they call it so much? Dang. That's because he's called It. Pennywise is, like, just a nickname for when he's the clown. I think his actual name, too, is, like, Bob Gray. Eater of the World, you've been around since the dawn of time. I need to pick a human name for myself. What about Bob Gray? Hey, what kind of name is that? My name is Robert Gray, and I murder children. And feed on their fear. I get off on children's fear and eating them alive. Children and gay men.
I thought it was funny that in the 1990 they had it so they all kept looking in the deadlights, and Eddie was like, ooh, eat on this battery acid from my inhaler. They made his death so violent in It Chapter 2. Like, swung around Teddy or... I should talk about Welcome to Derry at some point. So, funny little anecdote from when they're talking, because Stan's death is one of the first things that is written in the book. And they also gave some more backstory into Patty Iris, his wife. Like, one thing she says is she's, like, going to a dance, and she's like, I feel so Jewish right now. I doubt anyone's watching by now. But I'm talking. Maybe the video's way shorter after I edit it. Whenever that happens. Overall, I'm glad I read the book, because it's surprising to me how many It fans haven't. And I'm like, I'm new gen. So devastated. I missed the Prime fandom, like new gen. I'm glad I read the book. Would I read it again? No. Maybe I'll talk about The Goldfinch. That was a good book. And very misinterpreted. Boreo's not brotherly. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. There's probably some things I'm forgetting to say. This book is very extreme.
I'm not the kind of person who gets scared from books, so I get confused, like, oh, I haven't read it because it's too scary. It's scary? I guess horror movies don't really get me that much either. I don't know, something about just reading words, I feel like I need the visuals for me to get scared by something. Like reading something is like, why is this scaring you? Overall, I give this book a 7 out of 10. Being generous, because it's well written. I admire the amount of detail Stephen King can put into these books. Like, there's so much, like, he really does build, like, a whole universe. Like, there's so much stuff where it cuts to, like, just Barry in general and what's going on while they're fighting the thing, like, how it's all flying and towns falling apart, like, season 4 Hawkins style. And, like, so many characters that do not matter at all that are included, and just so much detail about the town. That I really admire. Now, if we're, the depictions, I didn't even talk about the depictions of gay people. That I wasn't a fan of, because we see it in chapter 2, with Adrian and Don Haggerty and how they get hate crimes and Adrian dies. Is he the only adult to get slimed by Pennywise in the movies? Probably not. Well, besides Eddie. Stands where it counts.
I didn't like that, and the racism and the weird sexual stuff towards children. Like, we need to put Mr. King on a list. Maybe several lists, actually. I've been talking here for like an hour. We're gonna see what gets cut if I post this. There's a chance I won't. But yeah, this has been fun. I might do something talking about the Goldfinch book. Even though I don't know I'd be talking so much about books because I like rarely read books. I don't like reading much anymore, unless it's for fandoms I like. I like writing a lot. Maybe I'll link my Ready fan version. And I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to enjoy some yaoi. Maybe I might talk about Welcome to Derry. I cannot wait for the next episode. I have the Phil cereal box theory is real. Okay, I believe. Maybe I'll talk about Byler. A lot of the Finnverse, you know. So yeah, I'm Danny. I probably named this channel Richie Rich, so that's my TikTok handle where I post mainly edits, but I thought, why not return to my YouTube roots? I haven't posted on YouTube since my FNAF Gacha days. Making a return. Maybe next time I'll have a better setup instead of my crowded art desk and my room with all my shit. And I doubt I'll have a mic or a camera. Again, I'm using a Video Star QR code as a light. But again, thank you.